Thank you, Pradipta. Good evening, friends. It's great to meet you all again in the new year. First of all, let me wish you all a very, very happy new year. And we have just announced our results. We have had yet another stellar quarter. In revenue terms, we have grown 4.1% sequentially. If you look at only the international revenues, we have grown 5% sequentially. And year on year, we have grown 26.3%. The volume growth is up, a healthy 5.7%. In dollar terms, we have grown 7% sequentially. The international business has grown 7.8% sequentially in dollar terms. And we have delivered a fantastic performance in margin. All our margins have gone up at gross margin level, operating margin, and net margin level. At the gross margin level, we are up 26 basis points. At the operating margin level, 7 basis points. And at the net margin level, 144 basis points. And the net profits have grown 9.3% sequentially and at 30% year on year. And we've had excellent client addition, 35 clients, great deal wins, and very good momentum overall. And the employee addition has been the highest ever, with gross addition at 20,219 people in the quarter. At the net level, it is 12,497. The attrition is low this quarter compared to the previous quarters. And on a 12-month basis, it is 14.3%. So with that, I think I'll open it up for questions.
We have Kritika Saxena.
Congratulations, sir, once again. To begin with, one question for Maha. You've consistently maintained margins in the last couple of quarters. Of course, there have been currency headwinds, couple of other factors that have been a concern. What were the main levers that you undertook this particular quarter to handle whatever headwinds that were present?
You see, this quarter, the currency went to a large extent against us, because even if you take both US dollars and British pound, two major currencies for TCS, there was an adverse reaction to that. As far as US dollar is concerned, the average we had last quarter was about 46.33. This quarter was 45.07. So that was the extent of difference. And therefore, there are a number of levers from a cost perspective that we had to work on. Because just to give you a perspective, if the same rates had continued as last quarter, our profits would have been up by 109. Our operating profit would have gone up by 109 crores. So we worked on a number of cost management levers and so on, and it was delivered. It's a performance as we had done earlier as well.
Okay, one for Chandra. So last quarter, I remember you had said that all the sectors that were seeing a lesser volume growth have seen double-digit volume growth from individual sectors, even sectors like high-tech and manufacturing, even telecom for that matter. This quarter, volume growth is phenomenal, but can you give us a breakup of all the sectors? Has it been as consistent as last quarter?
See, all sectors have grown except telecom.
Okay.
Even in telecom, if you leave out the India business, telecom sector has also grown. So again, you can say that the performance is well-rounded and across industries. And sectors like high-tech have done exceedingly well with a double-digit growth.
Okay.
And even in markets, all markets have grown except India and Latin America. See, India and Latin America have got a higher discretionary spend. And this being a quarter in which the discretionary spend is considerably less, those two markets have not grown. But otherwise, all the other markets have grown. And in the services, our asset leverage solutions has grown exceedingly well. Infrastructure, BPO, assurance, all have delivered significant growth.
Okay. So what's the volume growth in BFSI?
See, the total volume growth for the quarter is, as I said, is about 5.7%. BFSI on a constant currency basis has grown 6.4%. So volume growth will be pretty much close to that. But we have also seen a pricing growth this quarter. So apart from a 5.7% volume growth, we have also delivered a 1.18%, 118 basis point growth in pricing.
Balakrishnan from NDTV Profit.
Hi, Chandra, what about the challenges in the macroeconomic environment? Do you see any challenges in the short term or the long term? And my second question on the utilization rate, has there been a drop in your overall utilization rate? Is it because of the fewer working days in this quarter?
See, the macro environment continues to be very dynamic, and it's going to be so for quite some time to come. But what we see is that the customers who are embarking upon growth initiatives, as well as customers who are driving efficiency, are presenting with a number of opportunities. So I see the demand environment and the momentum for our business to be pretty good. From a utilization point of view, we continue to do well. We are again at utilization of about 83.7%.
83.8 excluding trainees, and including trainees it is 77.1. That is the one that you are referring to, where it has come down from 77.7, and that is directly related to the number of trainees that have joined in this particular quarter, who are still undergoing the training period, and they are not available for deployment as yet. So that is the reason why it has come down from 77.7 to 77.1. But excluding trainees, we have maintained utilization level.
Okay. Just a follow-up in the macroeconomic environment challenges. Are we looking at short-term, smaller deals in the pipeline, or the big deals, $100 million plus deals in the pipeline now?
I think the deals pipeline is pretty good, and it's mixed. So you have both types of deals, and we have won some deals which are $100 million plus category. We have won some deals which are in the $25-50 million category. So overall, I think it's a mixed bag, and we see a very healthy pipeline of deals.
So this is Ashutosh from Bloomberg UTV. First thing, sir, you said 1.18% increase in the pricing. Can you give us a breakup? How much is the increase in offshore and on-site? And second question would be on, you talked about utilization rate 83.8. Seems to be historical high, and all IT companies use that one of the margin lever. Are you looking at these kind of a historical high level for utilization level going ahead also?
See, what you have to also see is the size of the company. With we are a company of about 186,000 professionals. On that basis, even if you operate at 83.8%, the 16.2% is still a large number. So while 83.8% is the high number, we feel that the effect of size begins to play, and that is why we are able to operate at the utilization levels at which we are operating. From an offshore point of view, see, this quarter we have had 5.68% of volume growth, 1.18% of pricing growth, negative 108 basis points due to offshoring, and close to 180 basis points due to currency. See, that's the mix.
So one thing on last one, in a Q2 you have a reversal of rent, and that really boosted your margin. Is this time, though the 7 basis point increase in operating profit margin is there, is some bit of a non-reverse of rent is still there? What really boosted that margin side? And yeah.
Okay, as far as, there are adjustments that take place. As Chandra said, it's a large company. There are many those things. So you can't really get into one particular item and say that, this was reversed, not reversed, and so on. I think the story, or the thing that we would like to emphasize is that there has been in spite of the exchange going against us, there has been a phenomenal amount in terms of cost management, applying many levers. And in spite of, as you say, the rent going up to the previous figures, which is what we had pointed out. So we have managed it.
See, in spite of the currency situation, we have delivered a 26 basis point improvement in gross margin this quarter. It's a very important parameter. And if you see the pricing and productivity, we continue to improve. So that's how we have managed. See, we have delivered margins today at 45.07 to a dollar, rupees to a dollar. And 4 quarters back we had 46 point something, 46.5 or 46.6. So we've been able to maintain margin. So.
Kate Key, Bloomberg.
Hi, I was wondering if you could give us a picture of what the demand seen in Europe specifically is, and also do you have any targets for what you hope the future revenue share is from the European market? And lastly, whether or not you have concerns about the sovereign debt crisis.
See, if you look at the Europe, UK and continental Europe in particular, they have delivered growth this quarter. And also, if you see the trend from Q1 to Q2 to Q3, our share of UK and Europe business on the overall revenue is continuing to improve. We had a dip after Q3 of last year. We had a dip in Europe and UK share of the overall revenues. But since then, if you see sequentially every quarter, the share is continuing to improve. So all I would say is that while the economic environment continues to be dynamic, on both initiatives, from an efficiency point of view, as well as from a transformation or a growth point of view, when customers embark upon their initiatives, we continue to see opportunities, and our business model supports that. And am I particularly concerned about the sovereign debt crisis? I mean, as we always said, the macro environment is dynamic and we just have to continue to watch that space. But having said that, on the ground we have been able to deliver growth, volume, pricing, margin, and we are pretty happy with the performance.
Sheetal from Business Standard.
Hi, sir. First question would be on your other income, which has seen a significant jump. If you could throw some light on the constituents of the same. And secondly, on the budget scenario, what indications you're getting from your clients on that front?
As far as the other income is concerned, it's made up of two things. One is what we get out of the yield of from our own investments and so on. And the second one is what we do as far as the foreign exchange hedging is concerned. And we have really, we had certain covers as far as the receivables are concerned, which delivered something close to about 53 crores of a profit. And this, you'll have to look at it from a loss of 52 crores last quarter. So that's the basic swing that you had. The other one that really came in is as a result of paying attention to the yield and improving the yield that's come in. So between them, they have increased the other income. All that, I think, from a yield perspective, we should continue to see these kinds of figures. Foreign exchange is, of course, something that is volatile, whether it gets reflected at the top line or the other income is really something that we need to watch.
See, based on our discussion with customers, we expect the IT spend for companies to either remain where it is or grow. So different companies have different plans. But overall, I think it will remain as it is to grow. So that's not a concern.
Varun Sharma, Newswire 18.
Yeah, hi. First question to Mr. Mahalingam. Sir, last quarter in July-September, you'd said that if the currency rate stays at around 46, I'll maintain my margins. Currency was at 45, you still bettered your margins. Are we seeing a further upside in Jan-March, or do you think,
it's a bit, the thing is, we said that 46 is a comfortable level where we should be able to. And then I had also said that we'll stretch ourselves and ensure that we are able to do this at 45 as well. There are lots of challenges that really come in when it is at 45 because the revenue gets translated by 1 rupee lower and so on. And that's the point that we made earlier, that we had to essentially work on a lot of these cost management programs and so on. If it appreciates further, then obviously the impact is going to be much more severe, and we have really not said anything about less than 45.
Sir, just wanted to understand, again and again, TCS somehow manages to pull up great volume numbers every quarter, and based on that, I just wanted to know the hiring and why the volume. I know I'm allowed only one question. Why is the volume up? Just wanted to get a sense of that, and secondly, wanted to get a sense whether you're upping your hiring also for this year.
I'm surprised you say somehow. There is no somehow there. So all I can say is that our strategy, our strong market presence, and our ability to work with customers. If you really see the the customer metrics this quarter, there is a significant addition of customers in the 1 million plus category, 5 million plus category, 10 million plus category, 20 million plus category, and also an addition in the 100 million plus category. So our full services play, our global network delivery model, and an organization that is focused on the customer, all working together. And so that we are able to identify the demand and more importantly capture the demand which results in volume. So I wish the business happens somehow.
Hiring is related to the business demand. So for example, this year we have already done a gross addition of 50,000 in these 3 quarters. And as the demand grows, we will continue to do our hiring. Hiring looks pretty strong going forward as well.
How many in Jan-March?
Jan-March will be somewhere around 12 to 15,000 is what we are looking at.
Kenan, Dow Jones.
Sir, if you could reiterate the constituents of the margin growth, and were they sequential or year on year? And the second question is, another peer, a large peer who reported numbers recently, cautioned on the outlook and on the spending. So you don't seem to have shared the same kind of view. So are you getting volume or business at the cost of price? If you could assuage those concerns.
So let me explain the second question, then Maha will give the details. The first point I will say is that with regard to picking up volume at pricing, then we couldn't be delivering the margins we are delivering. And if you look at our pricing for the last 4 quarters or 5 quarters in a row, every quarter we have gained significant improvement in pricing and productivity. Over 200 basis points in Q3 of last year. After that, if you look at whether it's Q1, Q2, Q3, every quarter we have shown pricing and productivity improvement. So there is no way that our business is coming at a discounted pricing. And with regard to the demand environment, as I've already explained, I think the environment looks good because the market presence as well as the 2 types of initiatives that the customers are focused on, as well as initiatives like compliance, etc. All of it is driving growth for us.
Yeah, as far as the margin is concerned, let me give you the figures. You know, the exchange, as I said, as we said, has been negative. So 1.12% negative as compared to last quarter. These are all quarter-to-quarter variation that we are talking about. Offshore leverage has given us a 23 basis point improvement. And then all those rate, productivity improvement, any other kind of this thing, that has given us about 97 basis point improvement. So overall, we have got a 7 basis point improvement.
Sir, and pricing is 1.1, sorry, is 1.12% negative.
Pricing, you know, we calculate pricing. We don't put that in the margin category because pricing is a factor of revenue. And revenue, we have already told you what that is. That the pricing is about 1 point something.
1.18%.
1.18%. And sir, 1.12 is a negative by Forex hit, right?
Yeah. Forex on the operating level. It's not the hedging. It's
so I think what Maha gave is the margin analytics. What I originally gave you is the revenue analytics.
Sure, sir. I'll come back.
Amol from Z Business.
Yeah. So you mentioned about the 35 additions of the clients in your business. Would you just give us some sense about these clients? I mean, are they from India or out of India?
These are all international clients. All are international clients.
Okay.
In the new clients addition metric that we report, it is all international clients.
Prashant from Reuters.
So, given the current situation in US and Europe, do you think you will be able to take price increases going further? And secondly, what are your main concerns apart from currency volatility in the short term?
I think I already explained about our demand situation. I understand the macro environment is dynamic. But as I have said, there is demand out there. And more customers are adopting our business model. So that drives growth, that drives volumes, and the demand eventually will drive pricing. I can't give you how much will be the pricing increase, when it will come, etc. All I can tell you is that this quarter this is what you have delivered, and we don't give future guidance. But the environment looks good.
Short-term challenges.
Challenges, we need to continue to retain people. While we have done well with the retention levels overall, and this quarter the attritions have come down, we continue to focus on employees to retain talent. The macroeconomic environment is something that we need to continue to watch. Those are the two things I would say.
Anup, Bloomberg.
Sir, last year there were, 2010, there were record inflows, but relatively the currency didn't move as much as probably it could have. Now this year, definitely the optimism is not that high as far as flows are concerned. And on top of that, there is speculation that we probably might see outflows. Does that give you reason to be a bit more optimistic as far as the currency management, FX management is concerned?
See, you can't plan on this basis at all, because as I have repeatedly said, every time we have said it's going to be appreciating, the currency has depreciated, and worse is that it depreciates and appreciates in the same quarter any number of times. So I don't, even in the last quarter, in fact, we were essentially talking about the volatility, because the opening rate and the closing rate were reasonably close, but during this period it had even gone to 46 and so on. So there is also the issue of timing. And therefore, while these macroeconomic indicators we look at, we don't, on a regular basis and so on, we plan to ensure that we are able to sustain our level of margin, even in this environment and so on, and we take certain actions including hedging and so on. But you can't go with a script and say that this is a script that's going to be enacted, because it has not been done so far.
So, small question, what's the base case currency level that you're going to operate on?
We had said that we could operate in the 45, 46 range, and those are the current. At this moment in time, we essentially base it on the previous quarter's average, which is 45.07.
Venkatesh Babu from Mint.
Chandra, earlier you referred to telecom as a vertical which was dragged down specifically by the India performance. Any other verticals which are cause for concern going forward, industry segments wherein you think that there might be a kind of a negative fallout? B, give us a little bit of color on your BPO business also too, please.
See, from an industry point of view, I think our deal wins as well as the pipeline are healthy across industries. Especially if you look at the smaller industries, they continue to grow better and better every quarter. BFSI continues to do well. So overall, I think we are quite happy with the deal closures as well as the pipeline across industries. Then with regard to BPO business has almost grown close to 10%. I think it's 9.7% in constant currency terms this quarter. So BPO business is doing well. Again, our BPO is both verticalized or platform based. The areas that we are doing very well are, we are doing well in pharma BPO, BFSI BPO, travel and hospitality BPO, retail BPO we are doing very well. So all the various industry segments we are doing very well on the BPO business. Also our platforms which we have launched are beginning to show results. They are very small, they are infant at this point in time, but they have all brought in the proof points, and the revenues are just beginning to come in, however small they are. So I expect the momentum to be good going forward.
Ashwin from PTI.
So can you throw some light on India operations and your expectations from the budget?
See, the India operations has done well overall this year. I think this quarter they are down from last quarter. But that is coming on the back of spectacular performance last quarter. They were more than 20% growth last quarter. So it is to be expected, especially when you have a mix which is lopsided towards discretionary spend as opposed to annuity business. The pipeline is good, so we expect the India business to do well going forward. I don't have any specific comments on the budget.
No comments. This time India is doing very well, so we don't expect the budget to depress us.
Rachna from Financial Express.
Hi, congratulations on numbers. Just wanted to check with you on the tax part. You have 322 crore of tax same quarter last year, and this quarter it's 504. So do we see the tax going ahead to increase?
We have always said that this year we would see an increase as far as the tax rate is concerned. On Indian GAAP, the tax rate is on the PBT, profit before taxes. It has been of the order of about a little over 17% in terms of, and which is the rate that we talked about, 17 to 18% and so on. It is really dependent on the number of units that gets out of STPI and all that, and therefore it is moving. So there is no real concern as far as the tax rate is concerned. This is in line with what we had forecast.
So this is going to remain stagnant for the next
We have said that next year it will again go up to about 22-23%.
Thanks.
Yasser, Financial Chronicle.
I have a two-part question to ask. You've mentioned in the press release, Mr. Mahalingam, that as we grow in size, we'll have more levers at hand to combat headwinds and maintain our profitability. If you could throw some color, provide some perspective on what are those levers. And last quarter, I remember Ajoy saying that, the high utilization rate was one of the drivers of the margins. Now, this quarter, the utilization rate has not perked up, yet your margins have. So where did that magic wand come from?
No, you see, the size itself, one of the things is that you essentially look at the percentages and moving, especially in an industry where the input costs come from outside, raw materials and so on. Whereas the point that we were making is really that most of the costs are with you, and therefore, instead of looking at the percentage, can we look at the absolute number in terms of cost? There will be some movement that has taken place. One of the points that we would like to highlight is that ones that are critical for growth of TCS, growth of the business of TCS, we continue to incur those expenses, and we'll continue to be ahead of the game in that, whether it is travel, whether it is the sales related costs and so on. But wherever there are other costs, we have very good infrastructure. We leverage that infrastructure extensively, and therefore the absolute numbers remain the same, but the cost. So when I talk in terms of the overall cost, there are 3 points that we are essentially making. One is in terms of can we look at the productivity and so on. That's what Chandra some time back mentioned about improvement of gross margin. Okay, so that is really as a result of productivity, as also as a result of utilization and many of these levers that you can look at. The second one is really in terms of the general selling and general administration expenses, where you can look at it from an absolute number point of view and then can we control that. And the third is, can we look at many of the initiatives that we have undertaken, whether it is in platform-based BPO, whether it is in terms of some of the acquisitions and so on, can they grow in margin terms and so on. We have not really done so much in those areas, mainly because there are investment periods that you have got to go with. And I'm sure we will, as the size grows up, we'll be in a position to exploit those as well. That was the overall comment.
In the last quarter, Ajay, you mentioned about wage costs, and you expected to give a higher percentage of variable compensation as a part of remaining competitive. Given that you're planning to hire another 12,000-14,000 gross additional people, could you provide us some perspective on that variable payout and what do you expect it to be?
So the variable payout, what we have done this year or this particular quarter has been 100%. And the composition of variable to fixed, that will continue as is at this point in time. And we are at this stage reviewing our what kind of increments we should give as far as the next fiscal is concerned. And once we complete our budgeting, that's the time when we will decide what the wage cost is going to be for our next year.
Linson, DNA.
Two quick updates. One on the UK pensions contract. It was supposed to get into the second phase sometime in October, November. So, on-site offshore mix for that, or the hiring process for that, considering it's a fairly large contract. And two, alternate global delivery locations, one in China and in Latin America, in view of clients looking for locations besides India for their offshore delivery.
Suresh, you want to take the Diligenta on?
As far as Diligenta is concerned, we made a statement that as far as this year is concerned, the target will be to break even. We are well on target to achieve that. The platform rollout goes well, so everything, what we said so far is on track.
Diligenta, we have gone live with both phases. Second phase also has gone live. All the migration has been done. So the outlook is pretty positive, both from an execution point of view and also ramp-up point of view. We are bidding for new engagements. The platform is fully operational now, so we are pretty good with the future business opportunity. The second question was related to
China.
Alternative global delivery. See, we already have a good footprint in China. We already have 5 locations. Now we are in the process of ramping up those locations. We are in Shanghai, we are in Hangzhou, we are in Shenzhen, Tianjin and Beijing. So we need to ramp up in those locations. We have got a huge delivery footprint in Latin America. We are present across the board, right from Uruguay to Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Mexico, everywhere we are present. So it's growing and it will continue to grow. So I don't think that there is a need in these two markets to create a new delivery center. I think we are in a phase of growth in those markets. We need to scale and we need to get our business mix right. As I said, we have a lopsided mix in terms of annuity versus discretionary projects. The reason for that is the scale. So we need to scale now. I think we're doing well, but we need to scale. What specifics are you? Yeah, we are gradually growing. I don't think there will be a dramatic increase because we need to get the business as well. We are, I think, close to 1,400 people now. We want to grow. All I can say is that we want to grow faster, as fast as we can grow. But it does take time in China.
Back to where we started, Kritika.
2 questions. One for Maha. You've already spoken about this, but now in the next 2 to 3 quarters, can you specifically point out what will be the levers of cost containment that you will be using to maintain volumes and margins at this level? And second for Chandra, you usually laugh at this question, but will 2011 see an acquisition by TCS? It's been a long while that we've seen a big bang acquisition from many of the biggies. So any kind of targets that you're looking at yet, Chandra?
Okay, as far as the first question is concerned, I think, it is, we can't obviously be debating the specific actions that we would take and so on. All that one can say is that there is a cost management program and so on. See, basically what we have talked about earlier is that there is an ideal margin structure as far as TCS is concerned. And we know what that is. And we are ensuring that the business will be conducted in order to keep delivering that ideal margin structure. I have not specified whether it is going to be higher or lower than this, certainly not lower. But so we are essentially talking about running the business in that kind of. So what happens is that as I broke it down in 3 categories, some will go up and some will go down in a quarter. For instance, exchange can work in some fashion. Of course, within a band, we can manage that. Then the second one is that, the various cost levers that I talked about, how it delivers, and really look at areas where we still don't have margins in comparison with what the company on the whole delivers, and how do we do that. So we'll continue to keep looking at all these kinds of things.
Regarding acquisitions, we always look for the right targets, and if you do something, I will tell you. Yeah, if you do something, we'll let you know.
But any specific, are you looking at targets, and if yes, what are the kind of sectors?
See, we have said that we are looking at markets like Europe, and we continue to look for targets in emerging verticals. So we continue to look, but we haven't been successful so far in identifying any right target. So that doesn't mean we stop looking. So if we do something, we'll let you know.
You know, of course, just on a lighter note, we keep talking about acquisition every day, which is acquisition of people and acquisition of projects.
Last question, Kenan.
Chandra, if you could give us a comment on what kind of a pricing improvement range you foresee, and also typically you give the number of deals that you chase and what range they are.
See, on the pricing, as I said, this quarter we have shown an improvement of 118 basis points. And I have said that the pricing will continue to be stable towards upward bias. And I can't give a specific number because the environment is so dynamic, we can't talk about pricing. But we are seeing volumes definitely. And with regard to, I won't be able to give a range. And with regard to the deals, I mean, I can give you again all the statistics, but basically it is suffice it to say that the number of deals is of the same order like previous quarters, and it is spread across verticals. And we are again, the pipeline also is very healthy, and it's very similar to the numbers I have said in the past. So it's not anything different. And all types of deals are there, 50 million, 100 million, so good mixed bag. We consciously try every quarter. We consciously, because that's our strategy, is to migrate customers to upper revenue bands using full services. Every quarter we focus relentlessly.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.